EVWCUE is a known content creator in Warrior Cats Ultimate Edition, and recently, they've made a message to the community. That includes critiques on the moderation and the general player base. The issue here is that the script was clearly written while they were upset, which usually means the reasoning will be blurred in the heat of the moment. I want to preface this video by saying I have nothing against EVWCUE personally. I think a lot of their points have SOME validity to them, but there are a lot of gaps in their reasoning that nobody in the comments has addressed. Let this be recognized as a peaceful critique and not a hate video. Be respectful to every party in the comments. I'll go from each major points with my 2 cents. Claim 1. They should have support for multiple languages in the Discord. While I think having this would allow more people to engage with the community, they simply cannot accommodate every single person. If they, for example, allowed both English and Spanish, then they'd then still be leaving out hundreds of other languages. In a perfect world, they'd be able to have every single language be moderated properly, but that's simply excessive in reality. If you try to accommodate every little thing, it'll only leave you with a server that's less safe than it was before. They had to cut ties somewhere. I also heavily dislike the wording of this claim, stating that it's racist to simply be unable to moderate certain things that the vast majority of the community can understand is misusing the term. I would suggest being very careful with accusations like that in the future, as they can literally be career-ending if true. Evie also states that they remove things that aren't harmful if they're in other languages. This is a good thing. The rules need to get enforced regardless of how lighthearted it seems. Every rule is added for a reason. Claim 2, we should be allowed to retire warriors who are disabled. I agree with this, and so do the moderators. They do not mind if a character retires, because they have an injury that makes warriorship too difficult for them to do. What they do moderate is an outside character, like the leader, forcing them to retire simply because they are disabled. The difference is that what you're referring to is a voluntary act done by the disabled character, and what they actually moderate is a forced retirement done to discriminate against disabled characters. This is shown in the screenshot you provided to back up your claim. Claim 3, the moderator should do more about people impersonating content creators. Having a morph get stolen or copied sucks, but there's a reason they don't moderate it. Anyone can stake a claim on some random simple morph and report anyone for having a similar one. While I'm not claiming this is specifically what you're doing, this is an explanation on why they don't moderate morph stealing. They cannot punish someone for doing something that's not against the rules. Evie also claims that they should be more appreciative of content creators. This is something I heavily disagree with. Anyone can make content, and I do not like the idea of a community where some members get a free pass just because they have more followers. I believe the current system where every member is treated equally and fairly is fine as is, but this is just my personal opinion. Claim 4, general critiques of the moderation. There are lots more smaller points that both Evie and the other content creators said about the moderators. Devels, I'll respond to a couple here. The reason they cannot get to every report immediately is because the majority of the moderators are adults with jobs, school, and lives outside of WCU. They are doing moderation 100% voluntarily without compensation, so they don't have a minimum amount of hours they need to hit. Also, some reports are more urgent than others, like exploiting or ERP will be handled before minor disputes. These are all reasons that a moderator may take a few hours to respond to a report. They have a very strict system, and it's strict for a reason. Imagine this. You're hanging out in WCUE, and then you get banned out of nowhere because someone made a report but got the wrong username. You, in this hypothetical, may not have Discord to appeal the ban. That wouldn't be fair, correct? That's why they're so strict, to keep things as fair as possible. One last point, addressing the harassment. This is the only point of the video that actually upset me. In the background of the first 8-ish minutes, Evie has a clip of a clearly young fan approaching them, asking questions, and generally being excited to see a popular creator. Evie states this is harassment, despite having feel free to interact or hang out in their bio, as well as having never asked the person to leave them alone. They also actively engaged with the conversation through their bios while talking bad about the fan to their friends, because they couldn't see each other's chats. You should know as a creator, you will be approached in game if you have your username and follower account for everyone to see. You should have asked them politely to leave you alone if they were being a disturbance. What you did instead was recorded them, falsely reported them, and then posted them while knowing they would definitely see it. That is not them harassing you, that is you bullying them. You bullied a young fan. With that, I'll end this video, and hopefully this makes you rethink some things and become a better content creator in the future.